but unfortunately we got more rain. But now the course is dry and we are about to start. We got 18 degrees.
It's rather humid. It even feels quite hot, let's say, because of the humidity.
Yes,
but we should be good now.
We should be good now, and the good thing is, yesterday we had a lot of wind, and it seems to be like today there's a bit less wind, so that's a plus.
I mean, actually, the wind was in our favor when we were drying the park, because all day we've had rain showers here in Brussels. I mean, it would be dry for a minute. We would start cleaning and drying the park, and 5 minutes after, another rain shower.
So the course is clean and the riders are warming up. Heat 2, we only have one rider left, Levi Weidman from the Netherlands. So he will do his run.
Yeah, second run.
And then his second run, yeah, he did his first run yesterday. And then we have Heat 3 and Heat 4. So Egon, what was the absolute highlight for yesterday, according to you?
Well, for me personally, that would have been Jose Sedano's second run. So in his first run, he tried going for the 360 double tilt, if I'm not mistaken. Unfortunately, had a not so perfect landing. So halfway his first run, he just tapped out and kept all that energy for the second run. Second run, he went all in with all that Chilean powder. Double backflip, front flip, jumping from the one diamond to the other one, all while keeping the flow high, the speed high, some really good landings as well. And that's what got him 82 points, making him the current leader of the pack. But as you just said, we still have 13 more riders to go. So that's gonna be Levi Weidman with that second run, and then 2 more heats of 6 riders.
Exactly. As we can see in the background, some crazy tricks are already going down during the warm-up. That also will show the level of riding we have today. In the second heat, we have Victor, Jaka, Jose, Philip, Ernest and Levi. But only Levi is riding his second run here, as the rest already did their runs yesterday.
I actually saw some of the guys chilling in the VIP area. I think Jaka Remetz is already on his way back home. But yeah, still have 13 more riders. And then if the weather holds out, we might do the BMX finals for the elite women as well.
And as we can see in the crowd, BMX isn't for young and old, so it's for everyone. We have some we had some good crowd yesterday. They were very, very supportive, a lot of applause, and that's absolutely motivating for the riders.
And it moves me that the people still came out, because it has been raining all day in Brussels. But still, we can see the rafters from up here, and they're full of people ready to watch some of the world's best riders here.
Then yesterday we had Philip Mouf from Germany. And what was good to see, and I actually saw it with a lot of riders yesterday, that the first run was not going as great as their second run.
Not as planned, definitely.
Pretty much everyone that rode yesterday in the semifinals stepped it up in the second run. So let's see how that goes today. But Philip Mouf, for example, yesterday looked pretty stressed before he dropped in, pretty nervous, and then nailed it with his run. So he had a great run afterwards. And then you also see the relief on the faces, the happiness, like, yes, this is what I had in mind, this is what I did. And that's, of course, the perfect outcome of what you want to do when you ride a run, because everything comes down to that 1 minute. You are not able to miss your pedals, not able to miss a trick. You need to do everything you had in mind, and even maybe beyond. Here is Philip.
Philip Mouf on the left-hand side. It could have something to do with the level of competition, because in BMX we have different levels of competition. The most basic one would be UCI C1 competition, where riders can have 200 points for the UCI rankings, which come into play for the World Cups. Now, the World Cups, if you win a World Cup, that's 1,000 points. Now, this is the 4th year that we're having urban sessions here in Brussels, and that makes this competition an HC event. You know what HC means, Emil?
I do know what it means, but you can tell it.
Try to pronounce it.
You tell it.
It is. It's French. It actually means hors catégorie, and hors catégorie means out of category, which makes this an event where more points are for the winner. So the winner gets 350 points. I think the second spot is 280. So, oh, what just happened? That was Samuel Grace and
Versus
Levi
Levi
Wedman crashing into each other.
I hope they are okay.
Yeah.
Because we've been seeing the guys are flying all over the course, and most of the time this doesn't happen, but of course it can happen. There's no traffic rules. It's just a matter of watching over your shoulder while practicing. But they seem to be fine. They're back on the bike, so that's a good sign.
Let's hope that this will not mess with Levy's head, because he has the first run in the semifinal. He has to finish that second run of his.
We're here in Brussels, Belgium, with a big Belgian flag. Can you tell something about the place? You are from Brussels, Egon?
I live not too far from Brussels. I live in Antwerp, but every now and then I pass by Brussels as well. Now, so right now we are at the Place Cinquantenaire, or the Jubelpark, we say in Flemish, in Dutch. And this was actually a park to commemorate the Belgian independence. So the arches, the arcade that was built finished in 1905. And then on both sides, we have the big expo halls. The left expo hall that we see, that is Auto World. Right now they have an exhibition on Japanese cars. And on the other side of the park, we have the Royal Military Museum of Belgium. And actually some of the riders that are riding this final actually went to visit it while it was raining.
Just a little culture besides the riding and all the sportive activities. We have a 1 minute practice left before the contest goes down. The semi-finals for the BMX Park Elite Man is going down in just a little bit shorter than a minute. It's been a long day of waiting and checking if we were actually able to pull off these semi-finals due to weather, but it looks like it's happening.
Yeah. Bryce Tryon getting some last motivational words from coach Brian Fox from Team USA.
We have a lot of riders representing the USA and the UK. A lot of talent from all over the world. Riders from Germany, Colombia, the UK, Argentina, Slovenia, Poland, Chile, Latvia, Netherlands, and Australia.
I mean, looking at the two coming heats. Yeah, so Team GB with 3 riders. Team US, 5 riders. Well, already one rider finished riding yesterday. That was Nate McAllister. But we still have Daniel Sandoval, Bryce Tryon, Nick Bruce, and Justin Dowell for Team USA. But we also have the European power. We have Dean Florian from Germany and Tom Clemens as well. And from Hungary, Zoltan Ujvari. And a Dutchie coming up, Levi Wedman.
And Levi is the first rider to drop in today for his second qualification run, which he wasn't able to finish yesterday. And he is about to get ready, so we are about to get started. I'm pretty excited to see what he's going to bring for his second run. Just counting down now and waiting for Levi to drop in. Levi Wedman from the Netherlands.
Our MCs are warming up the crowd. We have 2 Maxes as our MCs. We have Max Henning from Germany and Max Evrard from Belgium.
MCing in 2 languages, that's good Brussels mentality. Squeezing out the sweat out of his helmet. It's like we said, the humidity is pretty high today, so you get sweaty pretty quick.
Levi Wedman with the full face helmet on. That means he's gonna go 100%. He's gonna go all in that second run. Currently placed as the 12th rider in the ranking, and still 12 more riders to go. So he will need to step it up.
Best run counts, so you have 2 runs in the semifinals, which will count as a final final decision. So this run will be your final run, and the best run counts. So hopefully Levi is going to pull it off clean and proper. There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Levi dropping in, and there he goes with a 720 Can-Can. Going on the diamond and going back.
Letting go of those hands in the no-hander across the leap hip, taking the leap there. 360 double tail whip across the jump box. Yes, that's a really good looking flare, keeping it going. Picking up that speed again with the 540. Yes, the Sui no-hander pinching the seat to make sure that bike remains stable.
Wow.
450 bar spin, really tucking it in the last moment.
That was a really nice dip on that truck driver, and there he goes with a 360 double bar spin, ending on the diamond, and there he goes back and with a 360 Can-Can, taking the jump box from the other side, so from the landing to the lip. Over the spine, truck driver, 360 bar spin, also known as a 360 bar spin, ending his run with a nice and clean tail whip air. He doesn't look too satisfied with his run. Not sure what went wrong there, but that's a bar spin he wanted to add on in that 720 Can-Can. 540 tucked in on the vert wall. We're looking at a little recap here. And here is that truck driver with that beautiful dip.
Scooping up the bike with his legs, pushing the bars forward. That's how you have a good tuck on that bike.
Yes, and Levi is waiting for his score.
Voilà, pour resituer un petit peu, on a donc le dernier rider du deuxième groupe d'hier qui vient de passer. On rentre maintenant dans le troisième et le quatrième groupe. Faites du bruit s'il vous plaît. 12 derniers riders.
And he is waiting for the score.
Points coming in. So the riders on the course have the television screen with the raw motion graphics that will show the scores and show the current rankings.
This is always a nerve-wracking moment,
And
waiting for your score.
Yeah, and the judges will take their time because like there's a lot of factors that come into play. It's about the tricks, the variety of tricks, execution, flow, landings as well, and the use of the course. But Levi did a pretty good job. I mean, he did the hip, the boxes, the quarter pipes, even the diamonds in the middle.
He used that obstacles pretty well. I'm sure he's going to step it up because his last run had 13 points. It's going to be ranked higher than that, of course, as he finished his run.
That's
And I don't think he missed any trick. He didn't slip the pedal there.
No.
So that was a solid run.
What he did yesterday was, let's say halfway or 20 seconds into his run, he tapped out and he was saving the energy for the second run, but unfortunately, that is when it started raining.
76.5 points. That's a good score for Levi Weidman, which will qualify him seventh. Next rider coming up is Zoltan Ujvari from Hungary. And Zoltan is about to drop in, looking very calm and focused. representing Hungary.
Also a very consistent rider.
And he drops in from the vert wall. He goes off with a flip double tail whip, which is a very hard move to do. 360 no-hander over the spine, going over the neck spine with a 720. Bar spin air, taking every obstacle with a trick. 360 tail whip over the jump box, taking it sideways, and then a flare on the vert wall. Perfect run so far, doing a trick on every obstacle, and another flare whip in the pocket. Bar spin over the hip, and a no-hander transfer. Still 20 seconds on the clock. Big transfer for Zoltan.
Going fast and high with that 720. Come on, Zoltan. Showcasing that consistency he has, hitting every obstacle, pulling some really good looking tricks. Double tail whip. That was a 10-second buzzer. Maybe one more hit for Zoltan Uzvari. The 540 flare, and he sticks it, and that makes this run a full pull for the Hungarian Zoltan Uzvari.
Yes, the crowd is pleased, so that's always good to see. A real crowd pleaser, the Zoltan is. And this was a good run, Egon. A lot of tricks on pretty much every obstacle he took. He did an amazingly hard trick. No pedal slip, no feet on the ground. So I can say this was a good run, but it's up to the jury to judge how it's going to be ranked.
Oh, look at that, putting a bit of style into that transfer.
And
double tail whip. Are we gonna see that? That's the 540 flare. So you're doing a flip rotation while also doing 1.5 rotations around your, let's say, horizontal axis. A lot of spinning involved.
I was just about to say, that's a lot of rotations there.
I mean, if you want to have a top ranking in contests like these, those are becoming the new staple tricks. You need to have the 540 flares down. You need to have the double backflips. And whoa!
What a score, 86.37. And that qualifies Zoltan Uzvari.
In first
place.
For his first run.
Impressive. He can chill now.
Well, he still has that second run to go. Next up from Australia is gonna be our good friend Samuel Grace.
Samuel got a bit of that surfer look. And he is about to drop in. Backflip, bar spin, no-hander. So much tricks in one air, in one jump. 360 over the jump box. And a flip whip over the spine. The other one was also a spine. And how do we call that trick, Egon?
That was a dip 360?
I would say it's a backflip sideways.
Yeah.
Sideways backflip. Oh, so many hard tricks. There was a down whip flare. Crazy. On the diamond, back into the quarter. And this guy is goofy-footed, which means he has his wrong pedal forward. And that was a beautiful cork 7 he did there. Going a bit upside down while doing 2 rotations in the air. 720 degrees. A great run so far. And another cork. That was a 540 flare.
And he caught it. He held on for dear life as he landed it, coming in a bit sideways. But these guys are in total control of their bikes. He nails it. He sticks it. Samuel Grace from Australia.
We're looking at the replay here. I think that's a very dip 360 or an underflip.
Like sometimes the rotation is really hard to like see the difference in that 360 nosedive or the underflip. But it's that personal style as well.
Also, it shows the level of riding we are dealing here with today. These are the absolute best riders from all over the world here today in Brussels at the Urban Sessions. And he is looking happy. He is looking satisfied with his run. Waiting for the score. Samuel Grace, ladies and gentlemen. Waiting for his score. The jury is okay. 77.38 points. That is not bad. That qualifies him on, puts him on the 8th place for now. But he still got that second run. And next up we have Dylan Hesse from Great Britain, UK.
The bronze medalist from the last World Cup in Montpellier. Now watch out for his moves.
He was already going mayhem during the practice. So let's see how he's putting his run together. He drops in, there he goes from the vert wall. There was a 360 bar spin to X up,
Yes,
double bar spin on the bar to bar on the vert wall. And that was a cork 7 bar spin. So many crazy tricks in one air. Alley-oop, 540 flare.
Yes, Dylan.
For Dylan.
Strong run so far by Dylan Hesse, especially with that alley-oop 540 flare into the wall.
That's such a unique combo to pull.
Oh.
And another
Flare downside tilt, but I think he pushed it with his front foot, making it even more difficult to push that around. Backflip, triple bar spin, if I'm not mistaken. Flare into the diamond. 10-second buzzer here for Dylan Hesse as he keeps up that consistency in his run. Flare tabletop, last seconds. Is he gonna stick that trick before the buzzer? Right. I'm not sure. That is going to be up to the judges because both wheels have to be down on the ground before the buzzer strikes.
But what a run. So many hard tricks. So many potential bangers. Banger slang for your best and hardest trick. But pretty much every trick he did looked like an absolute banger. So that is a really good run right there. And here we looking at a little recap. That flare on the diamond is also a unique trick on a unique setup, which we haven't seen so far. So I'm very curious to see what the score is going to be like. Great run from Dylan Hesse. And he still has another run to do. So even if he doesn't get a great score for this one, which I highly doubt, he's able to get a second chance to step it up.
A very strong season so far for Dylan Hesse. Last week in Frankfurt, taking the second spot. Montpellier, the third one.
Waiting for a score, always a nerve-wracking moment. 83.75 points, and that qualifies him second right now. Next up, we have Florian Dean from Germany.
Now, Dean, Florian, if your favorite rider has a favorite rider, it is probably Dean Florian. What you're gonna see is a combination of the big aerial tricks in combination with foot jam magic. All right.
Well, let's bring it on. Dean.
Let's go. Dean dropping in, going full speed for that 720 bar spin across the big Brussels box. Hitting the diamonds, yes, and then bar spinning back into the quarter pipe. Oh, taking it nice and easy on that air. Oh, 360 downside tilt. He has those dialed in. Bar spin on top of the diamond. And then full speed hitting. Oh, landing a bit low on that 360. But Dean keeps it going in that first run here at Brussels Urban Sessions. 360 tilt from Dean. Flare. And he is cooking.
There he goes. Still 20 seconds on the clock. And a toothpick, beautiful. Always good to see when riders using their packs in a run.
So far the only rider to do a stall trick.
No footer over the jump box. Also a bit of fun, and there he goes. 2 seconds left on the clock. And a beautiful hand plant, unique trick. And super cool way to finish your run. This was it for Dean Florian. I always mix up the last name and the first name with this guy.
Dean Florian used to live in the USA for a couple of years. Also a very familiar face at all the contests.
And we are looking at a little replay here in slow motion.
And he pushed that 360 downside whip with his front foot.
I hope the jury is able to see that from the distance, and it all goes so fast. Sometimes it's hard to even see what is exactly happening. That's why it's great to always have a little replay in slow motion, because sometimes we see some details there that we didn't see before.
I mean, I've had a lot of contests where I'm happy that I have the slow-mo replays, because oftentimes some of these tricks are performed so fast in a combo that it is virtually impossible to see from a distance.
And with 65.75 points, Dean Florian qualifies himself on the 14th place. And we
just lost visual here in our studio.
So we will be back in a second.
Okay, we're communicating right now with our friends from RTBF, the Belgian Broadcasting. So if you're still here, we have a technical issue here in the TV studio. And I hope we'll be back in a minute with visual. But so far, we've seen some amazing runs in heat number 2 from Zoltan Ujvari, Samuel Grace, Dylan Hesse, and Dean Florian, who just wrapped up his first run. So don't you worry, we're still here in the studio. If you're looking at a black screen, the contest is still going on. The BMX Elite Men semifinals.
Mike Halak is waiting and is about to drop in, but we are first repairing the screens here and get you back here in Brussels, because this is something you don't want to miss. In the meantime, some t-shirts and caps are being thrown into the crowd to get the kids hyped.
And we're trying to see here from up top in the judging tower if we can tell you anything more about what's happening here at Brussels Urban Sessions. And I'm looking here at our French colleagues in the studio as well. They have no idea what is going on with our screens. And it seems to be an issue on the park as well. There's no power.
We will be back with you when the screens are back working.
Let's see with our TV directors what is happening. And of course, people want to know what is happening at home, watching from more than 130 countries. All eyes are on Brussels today for the BMX action. And those screams that you're hearing, that's from all the kids that are hyped to get free t-shirts and caps from all the sponsors here at Brussels Urban Sessions. We want to thank the city of Brussels for making this event possible. And here, so we are here in the judging tower with our French TV colleagues, with the judges. So the judges are also without power for the timing and for their computers.
And behind the curtains, the crew is working hard to
Yeah.
get the screens back working.
It is hectic behind the scenes. Well, in the worst case, we can talk you through these runs as if it's a radio broadcast. That's the first time, a radio broadcast for BMX freestyle. I mean,
We
you
can
have to-
do that.
You
We
have,
can do that.
You have to visualize it yourself. So we will point out the obstacles that the riders will be hitting. We will tell you everything about the execution of the tricks. Yeah, I'm putting that on my LinkedIn, that I am a BMX freestyle radio commentator now. So you can hear the ambient sound. Our MC, Max Henning, he is pointing out that we have no power in the judging tower. Well, broadcasting has power, but the judges have no power.
Our boy, Mike Holland, is ready to send it.
In the meantime, it's going crazy in the crowd for all the spectators. We have a lot of T-shirts and merchandise that's been thrown into the crowd, and the crowd is very hyped. So we have a good ambiance here in Brussels, at Urban Sessions.
We want to see more BMX.
We are all patiently waiting until the technical difficulties are fixed.
Give a warm welcome for a second round. Say hello to Mr. Michael Holland.
Okay, so Max Henning just mentioned that Mike Hollock is up for his second run. For now, first run, excuse me. So he's dropping in. Here we go. Going full speed across the diamonds, bar spin. Full speed across the leap hip, picking up that speed, hitting the bar spin into the wall. And a 720 double tail whip.
And he goes back, taking the jump box from the other side. He is so quick with those feet and those hands. And look at that speed, cranking for his life, getting that speed. Doing a crazy transfer from quarter to quarter. Bar spin over the hip. And he keeps it going from the vert wall to the jump box. And a beautiful backflip bar spin to no-hander. And a beautiful bar spin combo on the diamond. So he keeps it going, and he's got a lot of his tricks in the bag,
Last seconds here.
because he is not missing any of those tricks. 540 bar spin. Very good run. A very good run from Mike Hollock.
So we
That
still
was-
have no visual. I think the people at home are also experiencing technical difficulties. I am receiving a text right now from Eurosport Holland that they have no visual. But apparently the cameras seem to be working on course. So I'm not sure what the issue is, but we keep going. We are keeping it freestyle here in the studio. To describe you the situation, I am standing up on my table right now in the judging tower to see the park, to see the riders getting ready for their first run. So we just wrapped up the first run of Mike Hollock. Next up will be Reef Way who was competing in the street session as well yesterday with the people from Kloot, the Brussels BMX crew.
And Reef Way is about to drop in. And we are almost back live. And he dropped in. There he goes, X up over the jump box. Going very high on that vert wall and taking that jump box with 1080. That's 3 rotations for Reef Way over the jump box. Truck driver going back, taking that transfer and taking those lines. Beautiful 450 over the hip and then a tail whip transfer. Some good lines Reef Way's got here and he keeps it going. And that was a 360 triple whip, if I'm not mistaken. That went very fast. He keeps it going.
Oh, flare, double tail whip.
Insane.
720 to spine. Reef Way means business.
A dip 540, which almost looks like a flare, but is a bit different. And a front flip over the jump box. What a run for Reef Way. And that's it for Reef. He gets a big applause from the crowd. And is waiting for his score now. The judges are checking what they gave for a score.
So another look at our current leaderboard. We still have Zoltan Ushvari in first, followed by Dylan Hesse and Jose Sedano.
And now we are going back to Zoltan Uivari. Am I saying it right?
Ushvari.
Ushvari. For his second run. First run was ranked with 86.37 points. So a very solid run, and that qualifies him on the first place for now. But he has a second chance to even add more points to his run. And he is getting ready. There he goes, ladies and gentlemen, from the vert wall to the jump box with a backflip table, taking that transfer to the spine. Big 360 over the spine.
720.
That's 2 rotations in the air.
He already had the best qualifying run here in the semifinals. Will he up that first run and score even better than he already has?
He keeps it going with a flare whip. Going over the hip, getting some speed to take that transfer with a beautiful tabletop.
One of the BMX classic tricks. Look at that speed, jumping back into the wall, hitting the jump box with the 720.
It looks like he's taking a bit.
Oh, full speed, 10 more seconds for Zoltan. Yes, tail whip to tabletop.
Over the hip and a big flare for Zoltan. That was it from our guy from Hungary.
He went
getting on the deck and
really
thanking the crowd for the energy.
Really high on that last flare.
That was a big flare. Biggest flare of the day.
And then a question would be for a rider, why not add an extra trick when you have all that height and that time to throw a trick? But sometimes it's about the execution of that one trick. If you can put the style into it, have the textbook execution, perfect landing, why not just keep it with one trick?
Why not just keep it simple? And also, when you land perfectly, you will keep your speed and you're able to go to the next obstacle full speed to execute another trick and another combo. Next rider coming up is Samuel Grace from Australia.
Currently in the 9th position.
And he is about to drop in. Yes, he is a crowd pleaser for sure. And we are back.
So we have
live
visual here in the studio. We can get back to our seats.
To our office.
The Australian national champion of last year, 2024. He traveled all across the globe to compete here in the city of Brussels, here at Place Saint-Contenaire. And we're good to go. Samuel Grace dropping in, hitting the box with the backflip bar spin to tail whip.
What a combo.
Very strong start so far. 360 spinning towards his front foot, making it a goofy-footed rider. Picking up the speed again, yes, and that is the very dipped 360 or underflip. $10.80. Come on, Samuel, keep it going. The flare downside tail whip. And the 540 flare. If you want to get on the podium, you need to have those 540 flares dialed in. 360. And that is going to be time for Samuel Grace. And one more, a 540 just for the crowd. That was that backflip bar spin tail whip. 360, tucking it in. Complete nosedive, 1080. And that's that 540 flare. So we're getting the drone shot here from Parc Saint-Contenaire. With the big arches, the arcade. Still waiting for his score to come in. We already have our camera on Dylan Hesse, getting ready for his second run. Currently placed second with that 83.75. But we've been experiencing some technical issues here in the studio. So we haven't seen the second score yet from Zoltan Ushvari and Samuel Grace. But the scores have been written down by our judges, the true experts in the field. And Dylan Hesse is going bonkers here with that 540 flare. Backflip bar spin to tail whip. Keeping it going. That's the flare bar spin. 360 bar spin. X up. Flare downside tail whip. Pushing it with that front foot if I'm not mistaken. Backflip, bar spin, bar spin, bar spin. That was 3 bar spins if I'm not mistaken. Flare into the diamond. The last seconds here.
And again, a solid run.
Just out of the time limit.
Just out of the time limit.
Out of the time limit. Both tires have to be on the ground.
But that was a good run. That was a solid run. A lot of hard tricks, as well as his first run. So I'm curious to see what his second run is going to be ranked like. And the best run counts. So if he gets more points than for his last run, it means he is going to step it up. Waiting for his score. And Dean Florian is already making himself ready as Dylan Hesse is waiting for his score.
Dean Florian did not have the run he expected for his first run. So he is back for more, back for improving that score. Going full speed on that 720 bar, getting really high, and then keeping all that speed as he goes across the diamond and then the bar spin back in. Yes, bar spin to tabletop, folding that frame. Oh, 360 downside tail whip to bar spin. Bar spin up on the diamond. Bar spin from the landing to the lip. No-hander. 360 double tail whip.
Wow, such a hard trick to do over his spine. And you saw that late rotation, and unfortunately he crashes. But he is a positive guy. Look at that smile. Thanking the crowd. He gave everything during his second run. Unfortunately, he crashed in the last part.
I would have loved to see it. That 540 flare.
The level is so high, and that's not a coincidence, because we have the best riders of the world here today at Urban Sessions in Brussels. And here we see a little recap of that crash. But he looks fine. Those guys can take a beating.
So you should see him in a mini ramp, in a spine ramp, like at FIS Montpellier. Like he puts up a real show for the crowd.
He knows a thing or two about spines, that's for sure. Next up, Mike Hollock from Great Britain, UK. Yes, all right.
He's ready to fight.
Yes, he is ready for the battle for his second run. Mike Hollock, ladies and gentlemen. About to drop in, taking those last breaths, deep breaths for some extra energy. And there he goes, dropping in from the vert wall, going straight to the diamond, doing that gap towards the blue diamond. That is a really unique way of entering the course. Bar spin to the vert wall. And there he does that double 360 double tail whip to bar spin, doing a whip on the diamond, going back with a truck driver, a 360 bar spin, tail whip transfer, 360 can over the spine, and going back over the transfer with a bar spin to no-hander.
And that was some really good extension on that no-hander. Keeping it going in the final seconds of his run. Oh, look at that, a very lofty backflip.
Bar spin back from the diamond to the quarter. Big flare, and 10 seconds left for Mike Hollock. 540 bar spin. And what was outstanding from this run is that he used that diamond setup multiple times. Here we have a replay of that.
And always with a trick coming into the diamond or like out of the diamond.
Exactly, and that's a reason the judge can rank his run higher. Although the tricks might not have been as wild as some of the other riders, but let's see, it's up to them, so we are waiting for the score. And next rider up is Reeve Way from the UK, Great Britain. He is making himself ready. He is getting prepared for his second run. The best run counts, so you have two chances.
Reeve Way.
Right now, Zoltan Ujvari is still taking the lead.
In the lead as far as we know, because we have some technical difficulties here in the studio. So our scoring might not be up today, but we will inform you as soon as we have it figured out. Next rider is Reeve Way from Team GB, only 20 years old. And last week in France at FIS Experience, he took the win.
There he goes. X up over the jump box, tweaking that bars, a big air on the vert wall, and doing that 1080 again. 3 rotations in the air, a bar spin on the diamond, taking the jump box back and forth with a truck driver, going over the hip with a 450 and cranking towards that transfer with a tail whip. He does it. Big transfer. This guy likes transfers. And that was a 360 double whip. There he goes.
Wow, double whip.
What a combo.
Not a lot of riders can pull off that trick. And as we look at the timer after that 540 flyer, that's a 10-second buzzer. Last seconds here for Reef Way to impress the people of Brussels, but most definitely to impress the judges. And oof,
He finishes with a beautiful front flip.
that was a buzzer beater. Where his both wheels on the ground?
Good question. Good question. Here we are looking at that 1080 again. Here is that 360. I can't tell if that was a double whip or a triple whip, but I think it was a triple whip, Egon. 720 over the spine. Front flip.
Hucking
And-
it completely to finish that rotation, to complete that rotation.
And that was it for heat number 3. We are now going to prepare for heat number 4. In heat number 4, we have 6 riders.
So the show is still on. We will wait.
Tom Clemens from Germany and Daniel Sandoval from USA, Bryce Tyron from USA, Nick Bruce also from the USA, Justin Dowell, USA, and Alec Daneludi from Australia. And what's outstanding about this fourth heat, Egon?
These are the top riders from this weekend so far. So we had qualifiers on Friday where we decided who was going to make it into these semifinals. So we went down from 44 riders to 24. And the initial idea was, well, to have a finals as well, if we could have wrapped up yesterday in the semifinals. Unfortunately, that is not going to be the case. So this semifinal actually is going to be the final of this Brussels Urban Sessions. But just looking at these riders, so we have Alec Daneludi, who was the best performing rider during qualifications. Justin Dowell, just last week, he took the gold medal at the X Games. Nick Bruce, Tokyo Olympian. Bryce Tryon, one of the newer kids on the block, but a very well-performing athlete as well. Daniel Sandoval, making a comeback in the UCI circuit. Last time we saw him was the World Cup in China, Beijing 2023. And then, of course, we have Tom Clemens defending the European honor.
From Germany. So that's the fourth heat, and we are waiting for the riders to enter the course. It will go down in a few moments. And this is going to be spectacular because these riders are qualified in the top 6. Alec Daneludi qualified first in the qualifications, and right now we have Zoltan Ushvari qualified first, Dylan Hesse second, Jose Senado third. But this can all change if we are going into that fourth heat. 2 runs per rider. Best run counts.
I mean, these are still provisionary results. We haven't had an update yet on our ranking. There has been a technical issue, so we're still waiting to see the scores of the second run. In the meantime, we're looking at the Parc Cinquantenaire arcade. So we're gonna give the next heat of riders 2 minutes of warm-up to get ready. And in the middle of the arcade, of the arches, that's a big Belgian flag. We're celebrating Belgium here, but most of all, we are celebrating urban sports because this is a whole festival with, well, let's say, the biggest part is this competition from Urban Sessions. It is the UCI contest, but this weekend, on the other side of the arches, we have the sports village where people could try 3x3 basketball, skateboarding, trial bike, break dancing, you know, and have some food, have some drinks. And the local Brussels BMX crew, Kloot, they got involved as well. They had a street jam and a high air contest. And how they would measure the high air? Well, they made a very big Manneke Pis. Emil, can you explain us what Manneke Pis is?
It's a statue from Brussels, and it became sort of the icon of Brussels, right, Egon? So they took that icon to put it on the vert quarter, representing Brussels, as Kloot crew is a crew from Belgium, Brussels. So it's mixing up those cultures and showing where they are from. It's a street crew, so normally they are riding in the streets, and this time they build a setup and a quarter to expose their sport and lifestyle to the people visiting urban sessions. I mean, so that's was really cool to see that subculture coming alive here on the event.
And it's fun to have this mix because this is, well, the focus here is on the park contest, but it is BMX freestyle, because in BMX freestyle we also have park, we have street, we have dirt, we have flatland. Of course, there's racing as well. But oftentimes at events, street riders will come and check out the park events. Park riders will sometimes come and check out the street events. Actually, yesterday during the jam that the Kloot guys had, we had professional athletes entering as well. For example, Vincent Legoni from South Africa, he participated in the high air contest, which he won.
Yeah, that's always good to see.
Okay, and we have an update on the results. So we've had some changes here and the leaderboard. So first, leading the pack is Dylan Hesse with the 90.37. Reef Way following with the 87. And then all the other riders that have already finished their runs in heat 1, 2, and 3. But still, one more heat to go.
So everything can change. The riders are warming up. And this is going to be spectacular. This is going to be a show, because these riders were qualified in the top 6 during the qualifications. The warm-up is right now. We are taking 10 minutes for this.
Let's see if we can see the timer from up here. Well, at least we're giving these last riders a bit of warm-up, because all day it has been raining. Well, now it's dry, luckily. Yeah, it was a long day of waiting for the riders, for the organization, for all the volunteers here at Urban Sessions. But finally, we made it, and we are ready for 6 more riders. The 6 best qualified riders from qualifications on Friday. And there we have Justin Dowell, the golden boy from last week in Salt Lake City at X Games.
So during event season, these guys are pretty much every weekend in another country, in another city, competing.
I mean, it was
at different contests.
A very busy month of June. So let's see. We kicked off in May actually, with the World Cup at FIS Montpellier. And last week we had X Games going on in Salt Lake City. The Skylines contest at Eurobike in Frankfurt. Munich Mash in, well, the Olympia Park in Munich. So 3 events in the same weekend. Oh, and then FIS Experience in Reims in France. That's 4 events at the same time. 4 events where riders can participate and get prize money, UCI points.
So here we have Tom Clemens from Germany, getting ready for his run, getting in the zone, and is about to drop in. Getting a good support from the crowd, And there he goes, dropping in from the vert wall, starting with a backflip bar spin. Unfortunately, he slips off the foot from the pedal.
But he keeps it going.
Keeps it going, but that will cost you points. 360 over the spine, bar spin air, and going back to that jump box with a 360 bar spin. Oh, nice trick. Fufanu it's called when you stall your back wheel on the coping, and there he did a look back where you tweak your bike. Wow, a front flip over the jump box. What a bag of tricks. Good variety. 360 bar spin over the jump box.
Bit of a hang-up when he came back in.
Another truck driver and a flare. 10 seconds left on the clock. Bar spin over the spine. 360. And an ice pick stall. Some good creativity here. Some unique maneuvers for Tom Clemens. Great run. I love the creativity. And he actually did a turn down after that backflip bar spin. Unfortunately, his foot slipped. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will cost you points, because officially you are not allowed to slip your foot unless you want to lose those points. But that is, of course, not the case. So keep those feet on the pedals. And Tom is waiting for his score, as Daniel Sandoval is getting ready on the deck to prepare himself for his run.
Oh, in the UCI BMX freestyle rankings, currently placed in the 18th spot with 1,240 points. Best result from this year was in Latvia, Lithuania, and Ride the Dragon contest in March, where he got the 8th spot.
60.12 points for Tom Clemens. Good run so far, but he still got a second chance in his second run. And there is Daniel Sandoval, 30 years old, from the USA.
Don't call it a comeback.
But he's here, getting ready for his run. From the USA, California. And he is about to drop in a beautiful green bicycle he has there. Getting into the zone, vibing with the music. And there he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Big transfer bar spin. So much speed and height. And that was 360 double whip to downside whip.
Whipping it back and forth. Now we call it a windshield wiper. Really impressive run so far by Daniel Sandoval.
Coming in hot, doing that 360 down whip over the spine, cranking to get extra speed, no hander air, entering the jump box sideways to do a front flip. And there he does a big flare. 360 downside whip, big air on the vert wall. And that was a cork 720 bar spin. 10 seconds left, bar spin over the hip. Flare bar spin. And that was it for Daniel Sandoval. What a great run. So many hard tricks. And this guy, he has a lot of speed and height in his run. Look at the height of that transfer, and look at this combo. That's actually 360 double whip.
Double whip to downside whip. So that second part, we can call it a windshield wiper. So whip number one, whip number two, then he catches that frame and he kicks back the frame the other way around, making it that windshield wiper. Flare bar spin. And he's also a very talented dirt rider as well, because last week he got bronze in BMX dirt in X Games SLC Salt Lake City.
$93.22 points.
We have a new leader.
All right, Daniel Sandoval What a run. What was that? And now we have 93.22 points for him, which qualifies him first. And next up we have
Bryce Tryon,
Bryce Tryon from the USA.
the nice guy from Lodi. Last weekend, SLC Salt Lake City, he took bronze in the Dave Mera Best Trick competition. Also a goofy-footed rider, which makes for a very unique riding style. Saying hi to the people in Brussels, the nice guy from Lodi, ready to drop in. Time to send it with the double backflip to start off that first run. 180 bar on the diamond. 360 toboggan. Twisting the bars, grabbing the seat, tail whip. 360 double bar spin, or the truck driver, as we call it. Nice look back, wrapping himself around that head tube, twisting the bars. Oh. Getting a bit footloose in there, on purpose.
Good run so far. And he uses that goofy style to do some combos that you're only able to do when you're goofy-footed. Big flare. Keeping it going, 10 seconds left on the clock. Going for that extra speed on the vert wall and doing a beautiful cork 720. A little hang up on the jump box, so that means your back wheel sticks on the deck and not lands perfectly into the transition, but this was his run.
He was taking it easy on the rotation in the 720. Like, he took all his time to complete it, and look at that. The way he started his run with that double backflip and then whipping across that gap.
Also, this combo is very beautiful. I'm gonna call him a laid-back Bryce, as I heard he's a very nice guy as well, and his riding style is very chill. Looking at that 720 cork, how many time he took to spin around, and sometimes I like the simplicity of a trick like that even better than an extra rotation. When you take your time to float through the air, that is just pure beauty.
I mean, that way you can really emphasize how much control you have.
When you can relax mid-air.
And the Pat Casey Forever sticker on the crossbar of his handlebars. Paying respect to the late Pat Casey.
Team USA gets represented with 4 riders in the last heat, and Bryce Tryon takes 84 points exactly, which is a good score. And next rider coming up is Nick Bruce, also from the USA, and you can recognize the USA riders by their t-shirt, their jersey.
Taking silver last week at Munich MASH. And this man is all plant powered. Dedicated vegan 360 double tail whip. Tail whip on top of the diamond. The powerhouse from Youngstown, Ohio. No-hander stretching the hands.
Going for that diamond and cranking back towards the vert wall and skipping it by doing a transfer. And that was a backflip, tail whip, catch, tail whip.
Yeah, but the other way around, making it the backflip windshield wiper, one of the staple tricks of Nick Bruce. Keeping it going. Still a bit more than 15 seconds on the clock. Tail up here on the KBC bank wall. And in the background, we can hear his coach screaming to him, 540 flare. Some last words to empower him, and time for Nick Bruce.
Nick Bruce, an absolute BMX legend. Already in this game for quite some years. Look at that replay. So talking about that backflip whip and then he catched it, and then he did an upper whip.
Yeah, so he catches his frame, then pushes it the other way around, the windshield wiper. So back and forth, just like a windshield wiper.
But he actually catched it on the pedals before he throws it back.
No, I think he catches it with his front foot and then he throws it back.
Okay. Because that takes a lot of time. You need to have a lot of speed and a lot of height and air time to be able to execute this trick and to be able to land it and keep going. So doing this mid-run, it is a very hard move to pull. So respect for that. Waiting for a score, Nick Bruce.
Also one of the first athletes to compete in the Olympics, which he did at Tokyo 2021. So a very, very friendly guy to hang out with.
92.5. Great score for Nick Bruce, and that qualifies him second for now.
But from what we saw, he has more. He has more tricks that he can still pull. So maybe this first run he wants to see what the competition is doing, what his competitors are doing. For example, what the world champion from 2018 is gonna do, Justin Dowell.
And there he goes. Justin got qualified second, and that is a 360 triple bar spin over the jump box. And that was a backflip double bar spin flare on the diamond deck.
Reverting the bars the other way around, 360 bar spin to downside tail whip, flare, and also a goofy footed rider with a very unique style.
Was that a windshield wiper?
That was a windshield wiper as well. 360 no-hander, lifting those hands up, lifting the arms,
Wow.
360 look back, mixing the classic tricks in as well. Flare, no-hander, 360 tail whip, bar spin on the diamond, back into the course. Yes, axe up, twisting the arms, forming a cross with your arms. 540 no-hander, 450 tail whip, the flare turn down, and maybe one more before the buzzer hits. Flare, bar spin.
What a run, ladies and gentlemen. So many hard tricks, great obstacle usage. Doing a trick on that diamond is always good because it's a unique feature on this course, and using that creativity on the course is always good, is always going to give you extra points than just doing the jump box back and forth. Flare, no-hander, looking at a little replay here. And here we see him on the diamond with a bar spin, 180 bar spin on the diamond deck. And here we have that flare look back. It was because he's goofy footed, he's able to twist to the other side.
It gives you the edge for look backs, yeah.
If you're regular footed, you're actually not able to pull this trick. I mean, statistically, you are, of course.
I mean,
but when you have the
you would have to jump the opposite way, or rotate,
or
the
switch your pedals, which is very hard. So this opens up opportunities when you're goofy footed, and that expresses itself with tricks like the look back. And that look back was clicked, meaning it was turned more than 180 degrees. $93 points for Justin Dowell. That puts him on the second place. He still has a second run to do.
Still Daniel Sandoval, our current reigning athlete in the leaderboard. But one more rider to go, and that is Alec Danluty from Gold Coast, Australia. He won Skylands last weekend in Frankfurt, and he's ready to go here with that, I think it was a backflip decade?
It was looked like a Cork 70 down whip. But this guy's level is very high. Look at this run. Look at the bike. It's shiny. 360 triple whip.
Yes, pure power from the Australian Alec Daniludi. No-hander across the leap motor hip. Tabletop, classic trick there.
Super high.
360 downside tail whip to bar spin.
To no-hander it was.
No-hander, excuse me. There's a lot going on in Alec Daniludi's first run, 720 the spine. No-hander.
Double whip over the jump box, taking it sideways. Going from the diamond back into the big quarter. He has 10 seconds left for his run. And he...
Oh!
That was a flare double whip. That went all so quick. So quick, he couldn't stay on the bike. But he gave everything, and he still has a second chance. He's a crowd pleaser for sure. Qualified first in the qualifications. This run is not going to be ranked as high as Daniel Sandoval and Justin Dowell's run, as he fell at the end of this run. But look at those tricks. 360 downside whip to no-hander. No-hander air. Squeezing out a trick on every ramp and every obstacle. And there he just came short a little, and that's why he crashed. So many rotations going down in one jump. Yeah, he says it himself. I just came short a little bit.
But still, I mean, that first, well, let's say the first 50 seconds of his run were pretty much perfect.
So let's see what the run is going to be ranked like. He still smiles, so he's happy. And I'm sure he's going to step it up for his second run. 86 points, .92 for Alec Daniludi from Australia. And next up we have Tom Clemens from Germany.
Second run for him.
Yes, the best run will count, so that means either way he can step it up. And if that doesn't happen, his other run will count. At the qualifications, we take the average of 2 runs.
So now still in that 22nd place for Tom Clemens. With that 60.12, he will need to go all in. Dropping in. Yes. Backflip. I think it was a bar spin, 2 turn down. Yes, bar spin into the second diamond. 360 tail whip to bar spin. Oh, 360 look back, spinning the opposite way.
So far, so good. 360 double bar spin over the jump box, and another Fufunu. Very good run. It's going very well. Clicked look back over the hip. No-hander air. And a front flip over the jump box.
And he sticks it back on that diamond bar spin. 20 more seconds for Tom Clemens. 360 X up. Bar spin. Now here in the spine section, 360 can. The 540, yes. He crashed it in his first run. Keeps it going. Last seconds for Tom. Ice pick, bar spin back in.
What a run, and also what a unique run. We saw stalls, we saw Fufunus, look backs, turn downs. And this is...
Oh, this Fufunu, look at that. Balancing nice on that edge, and then a very good hop back in.
Front flip. Yeah, this guy has an all-round style, we can say.
And this is where it went wrong in his first run, that 540 flare. But he stick the landing, completed his second run, and I am sure that he will get a better score out of this one.
We are waiting for the judges.
And MC Max Henning
is hyping up the crowd.
Playing with the crowd. The people of Brussels still love what they're seeing. Well, of course, we have the best riders from all over the world here in Brussels today. And thanks to the TV production here, we can show it to more than 130 countries around the world. So after we get the points in from Tom's second run, we still have 5 more riders to go.
76.55 points for Tom Clemens.
Putting him in that 16th position.
And next up we have Daniel Sandoval from USA.
Currently ranked number 1 with that 93.22 points. And keep in mind, this is his first contest back in UCI competitions. So will he take home those 350 UCI points? We're about to find out in a matter of minutes.
He's vibing with the music, getting extra hyped. And there he goes, ladies and gentlemen, taking that huge transfer with a bar spin. And there we have that 360 double whip to downside whip, the windshield wiper. Flare bar spin so high.
All that height, converting that height back into speed to hit the next obstacles. And there we have the flare whip. 360 downside whip over the spine. No hander, good extension, proper extension. Front flip. Flare into the KBC bank wall.
And he keeps it going. 360 downside whip over the jump box. And there he goes with that Cork 720 bar spin. A few seconds left on the clock, so he's able to do his last trick, and that was a 540 flare for Daniel Sandoval. And yes, he is happy. So is the crowd.
What a crazy second run.
We're looking at the recap here, and look how many different things you have to do in the air to be able to do these combinations.
Oh, that front flip, and he's doing that without brakes, so you can't hold your brake to lock that back wheel.
And actually he had a few times he went a bit out of control, out of his line, but he compromised it so well. He took back the control. 95.50 points. What a score for Daniel Sandoval. That will still put him in the first place, and that's a hard score to beat.
I mean, that's locking him into that first place for now.
The pressure is on. Bryce Tyron from the USA is getting ready to drop in. And he knows he needs to give it all to be able to get close to Daniel Sandoval's score or to top it up. Let's go.
Last week, X Games Salt Lake City. Now he's here in Belgium at Urban Sessions. The recently wed Bryce Tryon dropping in. Double backflip. Making an impression on the crowd and of course the judges as well.
What a way to start your run. Double backflip over the jump box, and there he goes with a 360 double bar spin over the spine. Going back with a look back. Taking that huge vert quarter with a one-footed table flare on the diamond and back.
And the way that he rotates at 540 or flare, like it's really hard to discern for each other. Keeping it going, Bryce Tryon. Second run, 540 flare. He wants to clean up that first run, get a better score here in that second run, and maybe move up the ranking, 720. And that is gonna be time for Bryce Tryon, doing it for Team US, Team USA.
There we have that tail whip, and as you might see, the pedals are switched because he is goofy-footed. Front flip over the jump box. There we have that double whip air. 540 flare. Cork 720. and he is waiting for the score.
I also noticed in that double tail whip air, he pushed with the front foot.
Oh,
Makes it even more difficult because you have less leverage when you push a tail whip with your front foot, making it a more difficult trick, which can get you more points.
it's almost like you're doing a double upper whip.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, it is a double upper whip,
It is a double upper.
but it's regular because you're goofy.
Yeah.
But that's what it comes down to. So if he denies that he's goofy-footed, he just did a double upper whip air. Just up to the judges to judge this. These are the late-night conversations we have later on after the show, reflecting on the crazy runs we saw today. 56 points for Bryce Tyron, and that puts him in the 5th place for now. Next rider is Nick Bruce, also from the USA.
Youngstown, Ohio, represent.
2 second whistle to the cars. Make some noise for Mr. Nick Bruce.
He took a big crew with him. He has a lot of fans in the crowd.
Here we go.
And that was a,
What a high.
well, there was a hard trick to explain.
No-hander. Come on, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Big downside
Flair,
tail whip.
downside tail whip.
Frozen. He needs to
Taking
hit
so many
here.
time because he's going so high. He's able to spin it slowly. Big no-hander over the transfer, and that was a backflip triple tail whip.
360 tabletop, yes.
Spine section.
Touching the shoulder, backflip, double tail whip.
Keep it going.
Come on, Nick, keep it going. 360. The MC is cheering him on. Brussels is cheering him on.
You can do it.
540 Flair,
540 Flair.
tail whip. Maybe one final trick within the time limit. The Flair tabletop.
Nick Bruce did a perfect run, and here we see it. That was a double whip.
That was a backflip 360 tail whip.
Backflip 360 tail whip.
Oh, and that's that backflip windshield wiper. Backflip double tail whip on a spine.
What a run and what a bag of tricks Nick Bruce got. We're waiting for a score.
So looking back at his last UCI results, a couple of weeks ago, number 6 at FIS Montpellier. In October in Shanghai, he got the bronze medal.
92.90 points. That will put him in the 3rd spot for now. But anything can happen from here, because next rider coming up is Justin Dowell from the USA. And he is about to drop in. And Egon, you actually mentioned you thought he was holding back a bit in his last run, and that you might expect some more craziness.
Well, we haven't seen the Twix yet. That is his signature trick. The Twix performing a bar spin and a tail whip at the same time. That is how he wants to take the lead here. Backflip bar spin, revert bar spin, and a regular bar spin again. Flair into the diamond. Justin Dowell, is he in that winning mood from X Games last week? Yes, big Flair. That is the 360 Twix, twisting the bars while doing a tail whip. 360 no-hander.
And those tricks are so hard to execute, and when you have to do them in a run, the risk of falling or missing the pedals is super high. So a brave move.
X up, come on, Justin. 540 no-hander, well executed. 450 tail whip. 540 Flair. Come on, 5 more seconds, 1 more hit, 1 more trick. Flair turn down. And that's the buzzer.
Justin Dowell with a great run. That 360 Twix was an absolute highlight for sure. And here we see it. So that's a 360 bar spin and tail whip in the same time.
At the same time. There's so much going on in that trick.
You're pretty much leaving your bike
Yeah, like there is like this
mid-air.
like this window in time that there's pretty much no control over your bike because you're twisting the bars, you're whipping that frame, and you are spinning a 360 rotation.
So to be able to land back on those pedals,
So he was the last but one rider in this heat, in this semi-final, which is the actual final of this weekend of this Brussels Urban Sessions. Currently still ranked in second with the 93 points. He needs more than 95.50 if he wants to jump to the top of the podium and claim the win in Brussels. And he's there with his teammates. Team USA is watching on. Currently, the podium is all American.
95 points for Justin Dowell, just 0.5 points under Daniel Sandoval. That puts him in the second spot for now, but we still have Alec Daneludi from Australia, which was qualified first in the qualifications, so he is able to beat Daniel Sandoval.
I mean, we will have to find out in his second run here. Currently ranked in 21st after that first run where he had the crash at his last trick, the 540 flare. But Alec is back. He's dropping in, going full speed with that back from 360, downside tail whip. And then from the one diamond to the other, full speed, 360 tail whip, no-hander. Cranking through the course, picking up that speed again for his next hit on the jump box. 360 double tail up to no-hander. Come on, Alec, keep it going. Representing Gold Coast, Australia. Tabletop. 360 downside tail whip.
Yes, taking that transfer from the diamond back into the quarter, doing the spine line 360 whip over the jump box, 360 downside whip that was, and a front flip, and he underspins that. That is such a shame because that's gonna cost points. He tried, and the front flip is a trick you have to calculate very well, because if you underspin or overspin, it's hard to compensate it.
Yeah.
And we are looking at the replay. You see that he is under-rotating, and that's the reason he can't pull it. Fortunately, or luckily, he's okay, so he didn't crash too hard. And that was it for the BMX Spark Elite men semi-final. That will be the official finals.
So that means we have our results for this weekend. So after the first part of semifinals yesterday, and let's say the second part today of the semifinals, we will declare our winners. And there's one thing I can say, and that is that our podium is all American, with the comeback kid Daniel Sandoval claiming the win here at the 4th edition of Brussels Urban Sessions at Parc Saint-Contenaire. So we're getting ready for the podium ceremony to decorate the riders, to decorate the best athletes in BMX freestyle.
And we're looking back at some highlights from the finals. Yesterday, it was the semifinals, but because of the rain, it got pushed into the finals. All riders got 2 runs, best run counted, and Daniel Sandoval took it this year. And look at him, Cork 720 bar spin.
Team Huffy represent Nick Bruce, taking the bronze this year at Brussels Urban Sessions. a very good season so far. Last week, silver medal at Munich Mash.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Now we're here in Brussels taking the bronze. And he's getting his trophy from the organizer, from Mathieu. And it's thanks to Mathieu that this event is possible. Thanks to Mathieu and his relationship with the city of Brussels. The world champion of 2018. That's why he has the rainbow stripes on his shoulder.
Justin Dowell from the USA, second place. And he gets the official handshake on the podium, second place. Raising his award in the air.
His best result here in Brussels was 5th place in 2023.
Okay, love.
So he's moving up as well
Get low, warm up
in the Brussels Urban Sessions history. And there can only be one winner, the UCI comeback kid from Team USA. It's been a while since we seen him at a UCI event. Daniel Sandoval, the winner of this UCI BMX freestyle competition. The winner, le vainqueur,
I'm the only one.
the king of Brussels Urban Sessions.
So that Egon, that was a thrilling finals.
Absolutely.
What was your absolute highlight for this contest?
So many things to choose from. Well, I was glad that we had Daniel Sandoval and Justin here. They really put up the competition. It was thrilling up to the last second of their heat, but there can only be one winner of Brussels Urban Sessions 2025, and that is Team USA.
Without a doubt. Some photos for the media on the stage with the bikes there, because after all, they're doing it together with the bikes.
Home 3, US boys, what an amazing show!
And we see a true winner here.
We're gonna have a look at that winning run.
Our boy,
So going full speed, starting off with that bar spin across the gap, and then the 360 double tail whip to revert, well, downside tail whip, making it a windshield wiper. Then all in with the big flare bar spin, the 360 bar spin to downside tail whip, flare double tail whip, 360 downside tail whip.
And you also see it, he just has some extra speed and some extra height
Yeah,
in his run. And
he needs that speed, he needs that height to perform all those tricks in those combinations. Decade, twisting himself around the head tube while holding the bars, 720 corked bar spin. And then the 540 to end his run with and claim the win here at Brussels Urban Sessions. With the 95.50. I mean, it was thrilling up to the end because Justin Dowell, he got second with the 95. That's only a 0.5 difference. So here we have a look at the results at the podium. Daniel Sandoval, Justin Dowell, and Nick Bruce. And then just out of the podium, Dylan Hesse, Bryce Tryon, and then all these other amazing athletes that we want to thank for putting on a great show here in Brussels this weekend. And then there's the only thing that we can do, and that is wishing them safe travels back to their homes all around the world, or maybe enjoy another day in the city of Brussels. And now, if you have been watching this broadcast, we really hope to see you maybe next year's at Brussels Urban Sessions 2026 at Parc Saint-Quentin to share the Stoke of BMX freestyle. Emil, I want to thank you for helping me out here in this live stream.
I want to thank you too. Thanks for your time and thanks for your energy. And thank you, Brussels. And of course, thanks to all the sponsors, the city of Brussels, for organizing this event. We hope to see you back next year.
Yeah, or maybe for the women's finals. We will be broadcasting that too. We still have some riders left here in Brussels. So stick around.
I will stick around for the women's finals.
And of course, you can check on all the action that unfolded here on Brussels Urban Sessions Instagram.
Brussels, who's ready for Sophia back today?
Get loud for me. Get loud for me. Hands in the crowd, we tearing it down. Get loud for me.
Unfortunately, we had the weather against us, so we had to wrap up after the second heat yesterday, and we continue today with heat number 3 and number 4. So we're giving the women still a couple of minutes of warm-up to get the energy going. So as you can see on a visual, we still have some warm-up going on for the women here. Get the blood flowing, get the muscles running. Check on your bike one last time. So to give you a recap of yesterday, we had the women's semifinals. So for this final, we will have 12 riders in competition. So you see that timer. Still 19 minutes left of warm-up, so stay tuned.
So, welcome back to the women's finals at Urban Sessions Brussels. My name is Emil Bouwman and I am here with my colleague Egon Temmermans,
Yes,
BMX MC and expert. And today he is here with us in the live booth.
Part-time MC on site, part-time commentator in the live stream booth. So yeah, we're getting warmed up here, as you can see on the screen, with the women for their finals. We just wrapped up semifinals with the men, well, finals of the men, where Daniel Sandoval took the win. After a long time of being away from UCI competitions, he took the win here at Brussels Urban Sessions. Then in second, we had Justin Dowell really putting up a fight. And then in the third place, Nick Bruce, an all-American podium.
And in a few moments, the finals for the women is going down. They are warming up. We have only a few moments left for the warm-up. Here we hear the buzzer, 10 seconds left, and then we will start with the finals.
Yes, that is true. This is going to be the last event of these Brussels Urban Sessions, the women's final. So we're getting all the riders off the course now. We're going to head to Paul and Andy, our course managers, get the latest briefing on how this competition is going to be.
Please, Liliana, go straight to Andy. Thank you very much. So, my dear friends, we have a straight show right now because we are waiting rain. But we still want to do a great show with all of you.
We got a bit of a delay today because we had a lot of rain,
We are hoping
but
that you're
luckily we were able to complete the finals for the men. And now we are hoping to keep it dry so we can also do the women's final competition.
We had some divine intervention today, so we had rain shower after rain shower, but then 2 hours ago it got dry. We got a bit of wind to help with getting the park dry as well. And then we had this amazing show during the men's elite final. Now a quick check here on the weather radar in Brussels.
So please help us with your voice, with your energy, and with your
We
applause.
might have some rain showers coming in, but you know, fingers crossed. Let's light a candle. Let's hope for the best and see if we can finish this women's final.
And the girls are getting to their places on the deck, the top of the ramps, choosing their position, their own position to start their run, as this is BMX freestyle. So you are able to do your own thing in your run. A combination of tricks, transfers, and it will be judged on height, speed, trick choice, and how the tricks are executed.
So we have an update. We have only 10 riders in this group. So to give you an update, Lisa Venish already went home. Also, Lucia Tchaikova, she is out as well. So we're gonna start with Julie Plousse from France.
Who made it in final? And we will start with
Yesterday we saw her riding in the qualifications. She did very well, and here she drops in, going over the spine, doing a little one-footer over the next spine with an X up, taking her hand off in the air, no-hander to X up over the jump box, and she sticks the full jump box, a little foot plant, the only time it's allowed to put your feet on the ground, as if is it for a trick. And there she goes over the jump box, late X up. 30 seconds left on the clock. Over the spine, and she keeps it going. Those ramps are big, at least 2 meters high for the lowest obstacle.
I mean, this is an official UCI event, so that means we only want the best setups, the best parks, to give the riders the opportunity to throw down their tricks. Over the box with Julie, one of the up-and-coming riders in the French park scene.
And a stylish air to finish her run. That was it for Julie's first run.
And she is gonna be setting the first score here.
And as you mentioned before, Egon, to be the first rider to drop in for the day, that's always a unique position to have. And can you explain a little bit to the watchers?
Well, as you have qualifications, I mean, the job as a rider is to qualify as high as possible, because that is going to give you the edge in the next phase, such as a semi-final or a final. Because if you're the last rider, well, then you can see what the other riders are doing. Now, if you're the lowest qualified rider, you have to ride first, and then your score is going to be the benchmark score that judges are going to use to base their scores around. So that's 50 points for Julie Plousset.
Next rider is Indy Kramer from the Netherlands. She is getting ready. She brought a big fan base that is in the crowd right now.
A lot of Dutchies here this weekend.
And there she goes. Riding a tall setup, doing a can-can over the jump box. No-hander air, which is a hard trick to do. Clicked X-up over the spine. Toboggan over the spine. A lot of good tricks here for Amy's run. Clicked X-up. The way she executes her tricks in this run are very good.
No-hander by Indy Kramer, being coached by Daniel Wedemeyer. Also a very well-known name in the BMX freestyle community. Coaching her to perform the best tricks over the box. Yes, and she nails it. And in the background, we could hear Daniel shouting at her to go faster, to go higher, and to pull her tricks like that X-up.
10 seconds left for Amy. X-up air. No-hander over the spine. And that was it for Indy. Very nice run. Here we have a second look at that X-up she did over the jump box. And as you can see, she does her tricks very well. An X-up is executed perfectly when it's turned more than 180 degrees. Going high on that third wall, dialing in another X-up, no-hander over the spine. And actually that no-hander air she did was very impressive. We didn't see it at the recap, but that was at least 1 meter high and stretched with her arms. So I'm curious to see what this run is going to be ranked like. 66.25 points. That's a good score for Indy. And she is talking with her coach that gives her some advice for her next run. And then next rider who we have here.
Well, for our next rider, we're going back to France to Valeria Lyubimova. Living in the region of Montpellier. Montpellier, often a name we hear when we talk about fees. Yes, starting with that bar spin.
Over the jump box from the side to the landing, and then an X-up taking the jump box from the landing to the lip. So backwards, and a huge 360 over the jump box. Really impressive run so far, but she still got 30 seconds left on the clock. Toboggan over the hip.
Great run so far by Valeria Lyubimova, clearing that box in the 360 rotation. Can she keep it going? The winner of the best trick competition last week at Eurobike at the Skylines contest. Come on. One final push. X-up to X-up. One more on the spine, looking for that toboggan. X-up, and that is time for Valeria Lyubimova.
Some very hard tricks she did there, like the bar spin over the jump box. Such a big bar spin to do. And then we're looking here at that 360, and she does it over the whole jump box.
Completely clears it, and it's about the execution as well. Like tucking it in just a bit, good rotation,
Tail
landing
whip.
straight. Oh, tail whip.
So some good tricks for this run from Valeria. I'm curious to see what the judges say.
77
points. All right. Good score. Yeah, she is happy with that. Slightly surprised she looked. But indeed, that was a good run.
Yeah, very clean run.
How do we pronounce the next name?
Maëlys Turini from the Lyon region.
There she goes. She has a good style. She's able to loop her back wheel for good airs that will give her extra speed and extra style during the riding. Here we see that over the spine, doing a little tire grab. No-hander over the other spine, tire grab air, and she keeps it going, keeps on pedaling.
Maëlys, the multidisciplinary rider. She can do street, she can do dirt, and now she's here in the park of Brussels Urban Sessions. Bar spin on top of that diamond. Come on, 20 more seconds for Maëlys. Wearing the Odyssey jersey. A true classic BMX brand. Come on, one final push, one final trick. 4, 3, 2, 1. Tire grab to X up. But I think, unfortunately, the tires were not on the ground, so that trick will probably not count towards her total score.
That was a close call indeed. I think it was just in time, but that's up to the judges to see if it counts or not. A good run. An absolute highlight was that bar spin on the diamond.
Shout out to you, Hannah. Good that you're here. So now,
Maëlys Turini, winner of last week's FIS Experience in the city of Reims, the Champagne region. 62.25.
Good score. And next up we have Alban Lacote.
It's Alban Laco.
Alban Laco. And there she goes. She drops in from the big ramp, doing a can-can over the hip from the jump box. Entering the jump box sideways, toboggan into the landing. Taking that hip there. Going back, pedaling for extra speed and doing that transfer. Giving her extra speed to clear the jump box. Good run so far, little no-hander. One footer over the spine. X up over the jump box, and there her foot slips. A little mistake that will cost you points during your run. But she keeps it going. She still has 10 seconds on the clock.
Also one of the youngest riders here on the course today at only 15 years old. Last week in Reims, the third place, and that was only her second competition in the elite category that she ever competed in.
Well done. We saw a bar spin at the end and a stretched no footer, so that were some absolute highlights. Also, this transfer is big. It's not easy to do.
Almost got caught in that X-up.
Luckily, that didn't happen. And there we have that one footer.
Doing it top side.
score is coming in soon.
Some nice flowers on her frame.
Doing it for BMX Renegade.
54 points, point 25. And the next rider is Liliana Seidler from Germany.
And she is under a lot of pressure because she has to catch her plane right after this competition.
She is flying to Berlin, München.
Berlin, I think.
And there she goes, 360 over the spine. Big air on the wall ride, and that was a one-handed X-up over the jump box. That is such a hard trick to do. Bar spin over the spine. What a run so far. Can air, X up over the hip. And she keeps it going. Bar spin air. A lot of good tricks in this run. No hander over the spine.
Come on, Liliana. She's keeping it going. She has all that speed. And there we have it. X up to toboggan.
What a combo. You need a lot of airtime to be able to do that.
Trying to tap that seat while twisting the bars. Tail whip. Only the second rider in this competition that can pull it off.
And she has this
Can-Can.
signature trick that you were talking about yesterday, the tail whip to tail tap.
Tail tap, yeah.
She showed us some bar spins to tail tap yesterday, which was very impressive.
Maybe that's something to keep for the second run, depending on the scores of the other athletes.
Let's see. One-handed X-up, so much airtime.
The first girl for now.
A lot of good tricks, very strong run if you ask me. In the end, it's not up to us to judge, but this was a great combo.
Tail whip, yes. And it was an X-up to seat grab, so twisting the bars, then coming, like reverting them back, and then twisting the bars again while trying to hold on to that seat. 83.75.
All right. For now, Liliana takes the lead, but we still have more riders like Sasha Pardo.
And she is a rider with the all-in attitude. Current European champion. She claimed that title last year in Cadenazzo, Switzerland. And now she's here to go all in. Pedal to the metal with the big backflip on the first spine. Turn down. Yes, Sasha. Bar spin. Back into the landing of the big jump box. Getting nice and high on the KBC bank wall. X up. Hitting the big Brussels box again. Backflip. Yo! Oh, putting their foot down.
But she keeps it going, she keeps on pedaling. X-up over the spine. Airing over the hip. And we have 10 seconds left. 360 over the spine, also goofy footed. Tire grab over the second one.
Maybe one final hit for Sasha. And that is time for the last from the UK, doing it for Team GB.
Such a shame that foot slipped, because that run was so strong. A backflip over the spine. Crazy level of riding, followed up by a turn down over the spine, and then here we are looking at that backflip over the jump box.
It had something to do with the hang up, so her back wheel caught the top of the box, and that threw her off balance, making her slip that back foot of her pedal.
Waiting for her score. 79.75 points. I'm sure if that foot didn't slip, it was ranked even higher. But next up we have Lara Lessmann from Germany as well. And she is about to drop in. There she goes. X up on the vert wall. One hander, one footer.
Getting all disco here in Brussels. Oh, turn down to Can-Can.
What a combo. One hander, one footer over the spine.
Saying hi to the people of Brussels.
Yes, a little ET. Taking that jump box from the volcano to the landing. Little tilt tap on the vert wall. Look back. Technical, stylish trick to do. So when you click it in your run, that's always good. Turn down air for Lara Lessmann. 10 seconds left on the clock. Beautiful turn down over the spine. Can air. neck over the volcano. And that is it for Lara.
Best result so far for Lara in Brussels. That was the 5th place in 2022 when we were still at the Josaphat Park in Schaerbeek.
2022.
2022. First year of Brussels Urban Sessions. It's already the 4th year here. But the riders, they keep coming back.
Because they love Brussels.
They love Brussels, they love this event. We actually invited these riders earlier this week to go and pay a visit to the town hall to visit the mayor, who is a big fan of urban sports himself. The German Red Bull athlete.
Waiting for her score.
No score is coming in.
A 1 minute run is asking a lot of you. You need to fire out all the tricks you have, all the tricks you can do in 1 minute. 80.62 points. And that puts her on the 2nd spot for now, but we still have multiple riders to go. Natalia Diem from Australia. Diem. Okay.
Natalia Diem.
Natalia Diem.
Also, she is an Olympian.
Okay.
She won the bronze medal at the Olympics, just as MC Max Henning is saying it. Look at that.
No-hander over the volcano. One-handed table air. Toboggan over the hip. And she keeps it going. X-up air. A lot of good tricks are being pulled out here in this run. Big air to the vert wall, giving her enough speed to stick the jump box with a 360. Going on the diamond and back. And what will she do next? No-hander air.
Come on, Natalia, X up. We're past the first half of her run. Nice big tabletop. Tire grab the first spine onto the second one. X up. Seat grab. No-hander. Last 10 seconds for Natalia Diem. Does she still have the energy for one more hit? Tail whip, yes!
Just in time.
And she gets it, she is hyped.
Good run, and also a good way to finish your run is with a tail whip air, a hard trick to do. Because you leave your bike when you do it, so you need to be able to jump back on the pedals, because if your foot slips, that is going to cost you a lot of points.
Yeah, it can really mess up your run.
And here we are looking at that tail whip. Beautiful.
Last week, she was on the other side of the world in the US at X Games Salt Lake City.
And now she is here in Brussels for the Urban Sessions.
I mean, she's been staying in Europe for a while after FIS Montpellier.
She better moves here.
Yeah, she went on a holiday with her girlfriend for a couple of weeks, and then back to the training compound close to Montpellier in the south of France, training with girls like Indy Kramer, for example.
86.75 points. That is a great score, because that will put her in the first place for now. Next rider is Nikita Ducaros from Switzerland. Look at the Olympic chain she is wearing, and she is dropping in from the big ramp. No-hander over the hip, going to the vert wall, big air into the vert wall, and that gives her the opportunity to do a bar spin to X-up on the jump box, taking that diamond obstacle also in her run. Big table air.
Really impressive run so far by the Swiss Olympic bronze medalist from Tokyo 2020. Also 2 silver medals from the World Championships that she has back home. No-hander Yes, turn down.
Keep on going, Nikita. We are all behind
Except
you.
over the spine. And a little air into the pocket corner. She still has 10 seconds left. Hopefully she has enough energy to pull out a last trick. And that is it. All right. Good run. I'm curious to see what is going to be ranked like. Oh, here we have it.
And she was the last rider to have her run here in the finals. The best qualifying in qualifications. And that will give her the benefit to check all the second runs from all these other riders. And then to determine which tricks she has to do to get to the top of the podium. But who knows, maybe this run was already enough to jump to the top of these 10 talented riders. Best result so far in Brussels for her was 4th place, just missing out on podium in the first year here in 2022.
So this was the first run for the first heat.
Yeah, first run, first heat, 10 riders because Lucia Chaikova and Lisa Wenisch are not riding anymore. Second spot for Nikita Ducaro.
Okay, 85.5 points. And that will put her just below Natalia Deem.
But the point difference is not too big between Natalia and Nikita and Liliana as well. So 86.75 is a score to beat right now if you want to jump to the top to claim the win here in Brussels. But first, the second run of Julie Plouzet.
She is checking in.
So we're just getting the remark in from
Some
C.
communication here. I think it's got something to do with some raindrops that are falling out of the sky.
Yeah, we can see it from our studio as well. We were lucky for a while, but the first drop started falling again. Now the good thing is we do have the first runs, but we will have to see if we can keep those as a final result. That is something up to event management, and we'll have to see with the UCI standards as well. Because in a final we are supposed to have 2 runs, of which the best one will count. So also the judges are pointing out that it is raining, and they understand that decision from the riders, and you can see it on screen as well. Competition has been put on hold for a couple of minutes.
The reason the competition is on hold because of a few raindrops is because it gets slippery on the course, and this is something that can lead to very dangerous situations. So the course needs to be absolutely dry before it gets used for the contest. Otherwise, it is not safe to enter the course on a BMX bike.
Yeah, that could be a big liability for the riders. I mean, you want to have a dry course so your tires can grip to the ramps. I mean, some of these riders, they're pulling these tricks. They're coming in hot. They have a lot of momentum as they come back into the ramp. And the last thing you want is slipping on a wet spot. So if you're still here, we are at Brussels Urban Sessions at Parc Saint-Quentin. We just wrapped up the 10 women's first runs, but we will have to wait and see what the weather is gonna give. And I just get the memo in that is gonna be a 10-minute delay. So update in 10 minutes. And we will be checking on the weather as well. So we're gonna switch to the podium ceremony.
As the contest is not able to continue because of the rain.
No, unfortunately not.
So what is it exactly that we do now with the scores? How does that work, Egon?
Well, since we could not wrap up the 2 runs and we have the format that best run counts, it would be unfair to give the riders only 1 shot at podium. So what happens is we will keep the scores from qualification as the final result. So we're gonna give you a bit more context as that will unfold. You can see it popping up on the screen, the winner of this year's Brussels Urban Sessions. And that will be the highest qualifying rider from yesterday, and that is the Swiss, the bronze Olympian, Nikita Ducaro.
Hey, thanks for the ride, brother. I'll be back in an hour.
The podium is ready, and we are waiting to do the prize ceremony.
Yes, we're gonna decorate these riders with you all.
To skip the finals for now, we use
Huge respect for these girls
semi-final. Yes,
who gave everything to make it happen this weekend.
already
Showed their tricks, showed courage to ride this amazing course with unique features like the diamond setup here in the back, the gray Brussels Urban Sessions square obstacle sculpted diamond with the 2 blue obstacles on the side,
The diamonds.
the diamond setup.
I mean,
From Brussels.
this was a diamond contest as well. Despite the weather that we had today, still a pristine contest. We've seen some top-notch action by the best riders from all around the world in this first HC hors category competition.
Yeah, and also so cool to see how the level of riding went insanely high last 10 years, how much it has evolved also for the girls.
It is constantly evolving. So we're gonna have 3 Olympians on the stage. Lara Lesman, the 2018 Youth Olympics gold medalist. Natalia Deem, last year's bronze medalist from Paris 2024. And then Nikita Ducaro, Olympic bronze from Tokyo 2021.
Taking the 3rd place, Lara Lesman from Germany.
second place. Silver goes to Natalia Deem from Australia.
Natalia Deem from Australia.
Takes the 2nd place.
Her last contest at the X Games wasn't the result she was hoping for, so I'm happy for her that she's back on the podium with that 2nd place here. Best results for Natalia Deem at Brussels Urban Sessions. But there can only be one winner, and that is gonna be the Swiss Red Bull athlete, Nikita Ducaro.
Taking the win this year at Brussels Urban Sessions. Nikita Ducaro from Switzerland. What a contest it was yesterday, and unfortunately we couldn't finish today, but we have an amazing weekend behind us here in Brussels.
And as the rain starts falling down, we just decorated these top riders, and we want to thank all the riders for being out here, putting up a great show, showcasing their skills, their talent. And we want to congratulate Lara, Natalia, and Nikita.
Here we have a quick overview for the riders and their ranking for the finals.
So yeah, that was the standing from yesterday after the qualifiers. So we're keeping those results because of the weather that we're having right now. It started raining right after the first run. We did not have the time to do the second run of these riders. And then by UCI legislation, we are obliged to use the results from the last competition phase, which was the qualifiers. And we can hear the thunder in the background. So that was yesterday in the women's qualifiers. It was windy, not the perfect conditions to have a contest in.
But here we take a look at yesterday's winning run from Nikita Dukaros. So much speed and power in this run, airtime and great obstacle use.
Getting nice and high with that tabletop. And back on the jump box, hitting the wall, lining up, picking up that speed, and then boom, 360 across the jump box. Getting high on that diamond again.
Executing her tricks very well. Clicked X-ups and turn downs. And that was Nikita Dukaros' winning run. Egon, I want to thank you for your time this weekend.
And Emil, I want to thank you as well for joining me here in the booth at Brussels Urban Sessions. This wraps up this year's Brussels Urban Sessions 2025. We hope to see you back next year, of course, in 2026. And that's going to be another all-category contest, of course, with some of the best athletes from all around the world. Make sure to come over here at Parc Cinquantenaire, and we hope to see you again here in Brussels. Good evening, everyone.
Brussels, who's ready for Sophia Beck today?
Get loud.